and deal here. And as you can see from the slightly clickbaity title, we need to talk. So I've been doing music production videos on YouTube for quite a long time now. I had a look recently, it's nearly 6 years that I've been doing this. So I've put out hundreds and hundreds of videos, many of which I've kind of got rid of at this point because the quality really wasn't there, some of the older ones. And I've come to a realization that there's not as many people tuning into some of these videos as there were originally. You can see from the sides of my head I'm starting to go grey, and the amount of effort that goes into some of these videos is really kind of taxing and draining. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, but there have to be changes on the channel because I'm trying to do 10 things at once and I've only got so many hours in the day. And a lot of what I've been doing has actually been actively kind of damaging the brand, so to speak. Not on purpose. YouTube is changing and the whole social media network is changing. The way that people consume content is changing. And the way that the algorithm decides when I put certain videos out. Yes, we like that, show that to people. And when I put other videos out, they go, no, we're not going to show that to people, nobody's interested in that. But then also the knock-on effect is that they look at that and go, well, if we're not going to push that, why should we bother pushing this guy at all? Meanwhile, a lot of my YouTube friends, guitar production friends, music production friends, are doing incredibly well. And I am really happy that my friends are doing well. There's not even a hint of any negativity there, but I'm looking at them and going, why not me? So what it's come down to, after doing some thinking, is that I need to split things out. So I'm going to be making more channels, so you're not going to see as many videos on the main channel, which as of now is just called Adam Steele. But the videos that come out on this channel are going to be the highly produced quality content videos on music production hardware, Reaper stuff, and hopefully some bass stuff as well, if I can kind of convince the algorithm that those are the 3 things that I do. If it's a live video, I think a lot of the live videos are going to be on here as well, because YouTube treats live as kind of a separate category, so that's fine. But if there are any videos where it's like the mix react videos, I really enjoyed those, and the first one did really well, but then it kind of wasn't something that YouTube was interested in because I'm not a mix react channel, and I think the high number of like copyright flags that are involved with that were causing issues. So that's going to be on its own separate channel. That will come back at some point soon, and when it does, it might be one a week, but that will be on a separate React channel. Also, there will be an Adam Steele 2 channel where I can put videos that are a bit more throwaway, a bit more kind of not a massive production. If it's something that maybe I've got like a long cut of something that I want you guys to see, but it wouldn't be appropriate for kind of a main channel video, they can all go on there. That might also be a place that I use to test videos for patrons on Patreon, because that way again it's not damaging the main channel's metrics, but you guys can still see them. I'm going to be getting into using shorts a lot more, although whether they're on the main channel or not, I'm going to have to investigate which way is most appropriate. I'm going to start using shorts on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. I'm still not going to do TikTok. I'm not a fan of that vapid hole. I'm an educator, and I have kind of decided that my place is not on TikTok. That there are loads of entertainers who are funny, who do stuff that is kind of appropriate for that, and I'm not one of them. So by putting stuff that isn't funny or isn't necessarily immediately entertaining on TikTok, that would just be a waste of my limited time. Soon you'll start to see me a lot on other people's channels because I'm doing a lot more work with 2Notes, I'm doing more stuff with Audience. You might have seen me come out on a lot of their Shorts, ironically enough, on TikTok as well as Instagram, but that's what they want to do with it. And so I'm not employed by any of those people, but I kind of, do a little bit of work with those guys every now and again. I'm planning on going to NAMM this year if I can. Henning Pauly invited me out to his Castaway Island, but I couldn't be away for 2 weeks because, I've got a young family. I've got a 4-year-old daughter. I couldn't really be away for too long. But I've got some really cool stuff coming up. I've also been working on a big documentary for Monuments for the making of their latest album. Hopefully that'll be out soon. But that's again not going to be on this channel, so keep an eye out for posts on this channel about videos that are on either my other channels or other people's other channels, because those posts will be seen as like, community engagement, all that kind of thing, but again won't, if nobody looks at a post, it's not going to kill the main videos, I don't think. We do still have our Patreon account where I try and put everything up early, and that's massively appreciated for everyone who can support us through Patreon. It really does help to do more stuff that's dedicated to you and not to like other companies, because I've got to pay the bills somehow, and if I have to work for other companies to pay the bills, I mean, if it's companies I like, that's great, but it means that you'll see less of me and they will see more of me. There's also loads of courses and products coming out that I've been involved with that are finally starting to see releases, and I'm going to be working towards making more products with other people, whether it's educational stuff, whether it's like virtual cabs, all that kind of stuff that I've been involved in for years. I'm getting more and more and more into that world, and it's really, I really appreciate that people seem to want a lot of that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's meant that I can do this whole thing full time without having to record bands that I don't want to record. Don't get me wrong, I want to record bands, I want to use this studio as a studio, but when I was doing this and this was the entire living, you pretty much had to say yes to everybody, and some people would be hilariously unprepared, sometimes not very nice people, the kind of stuff you don't really want to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Whereas if I can just say, yes, I want to work with these guys, I mean, I'm trying to aim to do some sort of major label release in the next year or two. Be involved with, at least. Not my own material. That's another thing. That I am working on an album, not a major label album, just an album of my own. Some of you may have seen a live stream where I mapped out the structure of the album, and so hopefully over the next year we're going to be doing live streams where we do some songwriting stuff, not as a here's how you songwrite, but here's me actually writing songs while you watch. Which I think is a very different thing. There's like, my friend Trey Xavier does a lot of videos about here is how you write songs, which is amazing, but I'm doing it the other way, where I'm just going to kind of expose the entire process. My process is going to be a little different from somebody who kind of, sits down and makes a 4-minute acoustic folk song. But that's going to be something to look out for as well. I'm going to try and playlist everything on YouTube as well, so you can find things a little bit easier. Because the old playlists that we had, I think, are largely out of date. But I guess I'll finding time for this kind of stuff, but I'll try and get around to it. But yeah, last thing, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. Whether you've subscribed or whether you haven't and you're just watching this for the first time, everything that you guys put into in terms of responding with comments, good comments, and wanting to, engage with me really helps me to kind of make this a reality. So thank you everybody so much. It's massively appreciated. And yeah, the names of the patrons scrolling up there is something that we do. We don't take it lightly. Massive thanks to all of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.